Welcome everyone to part 2 of this week's edition of the Cheat Meal presented by Deep Fried Draft. Again, I'm Brian Bosarge. We're going to now preview the second half of the bowl games, as well as we're going to talk about this week's additions to the Senior Bowl roster. So let's get right into it. Let's get on to 12/28 at 8 p.m. on ESPN. We have the Advocare V100 Texas Bowl that's played in NRG Stadium in Houston. Between Texas A&M and Kansas State, the best players on the field in this game for both teams are pass rushers. You have Myles Garrett, who is the favorite to be the #1 pick in the draft at this point for Texas A&M. They also have a great pass rusher on the other side in Deshaun Hall. He'll be at the Senior Bowl. He'll be joined in Mobile by Kansas State defensive end Jordan Willis, who's a solid mid-round pick. The Birmingham Bowl, 12/29, 1 p.m. on ESPN between South Carolina and South Florida. The USF offense with junior quarterback Quentin Flowers, junior running back Marlon Mack, and senior wide receiver Rodney Adams going to be a difficult task for the young South Carolina defense. And I just don't think South Carolina's offense are going to be able to score enough points in this one. But I will be live scouting this game in Birmingham. I've made the decision to go to that game, so hopefully, fingers crossed, nice weather. 12/29 at 4:30 p.m. on ESPN is the Belk Bowl in Charlotte between Virginia Tech and Arkansas, and this has a chance to be a sneaky fun game. You got two junior quarterbacks that have a chance to shine next year, although there is a rumor right now that Virginia Tech's junior quarterback Gerard Evans may come out early. I would plead with him to not. He definitely needs another year in school, another year under Justin Fuente. Also, Arkansas junior quarterback Austin Allen, another solid QB prospect for next year. 12/29, 8 p.m. on ESPN is the Valero Alamo Bowl in San Antonio between Colorado and Oklahoma State. Intriguing matchups here as Colorado has an elite secondary. Oklahoma State junior wide receiver James Washington is phenomenal. Senior Juwan Seals is a solid late-round prospect. The key to me is going to be the health of Colorado senior quarterback Sefo Lufau, who is going to the Senior Bowl. We'll get to that in a second. And the accuracy of Oklahoma junior quarterback Mason Rudolph. 12:30, 11 a.m. on ESPN. You have the AutoZone Liberty Bowl in Memphis between Georgia and TCU. You can definitely tell the talent level is down at TCU compared to recent years. Their top prospect is senior outside linebacker Josh Caraway. I'm curious if this is the last college football game for both Georgia junior running backs Nick Chubb and Sony Michel. 12:30, 1 p.m. December 30th, 1 p.m. on CBS is the Hyundai Sun Bowl in El Paso between Stanford and North Carolina. It's going to be the final college game for dynamic junior running back Christian McCaffrey as he's declared for the draft. Could also be the final college game for potential top 5 pick North Carolina's junior quarterback Mitch Trubisky. December 30th, 2:30 p.m. on ESPN, we have the Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. That is a ridiculously long bowl title. That game played, of course, in Nashville between Tennessee and Nebraska. Likely final game for potential top 15 pick in Tennessee junior defensive end Derek Barnett. Nebraska is lacking top prospects this year, but their best may be safety Nate Berry, who will be at the Senior Bowl. Also on December 30th at 4:30 p.m. on the American Sports Network, check your local listings, the Nova Home Loans Arizona Bowl in Tucson between Air Force and South Alabama. The big matchup in this game is South Alabama senior tight end Gerald Everett against Air Force senior safety Weston Steelhammer. The first of the New Year's Six bowl games will also be that night, December 30th, 7 p.m. on ESPN between Florida State and Michigan. Likely final game for Florida State junior running back Dalvin Cook. He and the Noles will probably face the toughest defense they've faced all season. Michigan has at least 9 players minimum, maybe more, that'll be in NFL camps next year. So tough out for the Noles. New Year's Eve, 10 a.m. on ABC, we have the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl in Orlando between Louisville and LSU. Heisman winner Lamar Jackson will take on a defense loaded with NFL talent. LSU junior running back Leonard Fournette has already announced that he's declaring for the draft, thus shocking no one. New Year's Eve, 10 a.m. on ESPN, we have the Tax Slayer Bowl, formerly the Gator Bowl, in Jacksonville between Georgia Tech and Kentucky. Best matchup in this one will be Kentucky senior center John Toth against Georgia Tech senior defensive tackle Francis Callion. New Year's Eve, 2 p.m. on ESPN is the first college football playoff semifinal in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl between Alabama and Washington. For Washington to have any chance in this game, they're going to need junior wide receivers Austin Pettis and John Ross to test Alabama's secondary down the field. And for that to happen, sophomore quarterback Jake Browning is going to have to perform lights out, or the exact opposite of how he performed in the Southern Cal and Colorado games. The other playoff semifinal in Glendale at the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, New Year's Eve, 7 p.m. on ESPN between Clemson and Ohio State. You got the Ohio State secondary with redshirt sophomore safeties Malik Hooker and junior cornerback Garyon Conley and Marshawn Lattimore. They match up well with Clemson's strength. Key for Ohio State is going to be junior quarterback J.T. Barrett moving the ball against Clemson's front four. January 2nd, noon on ABC, you have the Outback Bowl in Tampa between Iowa and Florida. In this game, you will have two of the worst offenses in the nation. Like, they're in the bottom 10. So, yay, fun. January 2nd at noon on ESPN, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl in Dallas between Western Michigan and Wisconsin. To me, in my opinion, Western Michigan's offense matches up well with Wisconsin. The key will be the ability of junior offensive tackle Chukwuma Okafor and senior offensive tackle Taylor Moton blocking Wisconsin's pass rush led by junior outside linebacker T.J. Watt. January 2nd, 4 p.m. on ESPN, you have the Rose Bowl game presented by Northwestern Mutual between Southern Cal and Penn State. Key matchup for me in this game is Southern Cal junior corner Adoree Jackson against Penn State junior wide receiver Chris Godwin. January 2nd, 7:30 p.m. on ESPN, we have the All-State Sugar Bowl between Auburn and Oklahoma, and quarterback play is going to dictate how or if Auburn stays in this game. They're going to need Sean White, if he plays, to even have a chance. If not, Oklahoma's likely going to blow their doors off. So that's going to complete the bowl games we're going to cover. There's a few other games that I will watch, but not going to preview here. 12-17. Saturday, you're going to have the Division II championship between Northwest Missouri State and North Alabama. Also, this Saturday, I'll be watching one of the FCS semifinals between Youngstown State and Eastern Washington. In all likelihood, I will also watch the FCS championship game on 1/7. And January 9th, I'll, of course, be watching the college football championship. My prediction will be, I'm predicting Alabama will play Ohio State in that one. But regardless of what two teams are playing in it, I will watch it. There are 3 bowl games that I'm not going to watch because there's either not enough prospects in it to make worth my while, or I just don't really have an interest in watching it. Those games will be, one of them is on 12-17, the AutoNation Cure Bowl in Orlando between Arkansas State and UCF. 12-27, the Motel 6 Cactus Bowl between Boise State and Baylor. And also on 12-27 is the Zaxby's Heart of Dallas Bowl between Army and North Texas. Before we get to the Senior Bowl editions for this week, I'd like to congratulate Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Tyreek Hill. He is the Deep Fried Draft Rookie of the Week this week for his performance against Oakland on Thursday night. Now, Senior Bowl added 13 names, and if they are keeping 6 quarterbacks, if they're only inviting 6 quarterbacks, the QB roster is now filled. The addition of 4 quarterbacks this week. Sefo Lufau, who I mentioned earlier, from Colorado. Josh Dobbs from Tennessee. Not a fan of his game. I am slowly coming around on Nathan Peterman, the quarterback from Pitt. The more I see him, the more I like. And the shocker of them all, and I've talked about it on Twitter, I even had to look up where the school was, is Antonio Pipkin, a quarterback from Tiffin College, which is in Ohio, or Tiffin University, which is in Ohio. It's a Division II school. I had never heard of the school. Definitely had never heard of Antonio Pipkin. If you go to draftbreakdown.com, which I encourage everyone to do so whenever they can, because those guys are amazing over there with the work that they do. But within 3 days of Pipkin's leak that he was going to be in the Senior Bowl, those guys have 3 cut-ups of his games. I haven't watched them yet, but they have 3 cut-ups of his games ready to go on their site. So those guys, like I said, are great. But Antonio Pipkin is a guy, I mean, a virtual unknown will go to Mobile and have a chance to impress every team that's there. So good for him. The other 9 players who come in to accept invitations this week are Dorian Johnson, offensive guard from Pitt, Marquez White, corner from Florida State, DeMonte Casey from San Diego State, a corner guy like a good bit. Cam Sutton, corner from Tennessee, has had injury issues, but is a very good player. One of the best linebackers in this draft is Jared Davis from Florida. He's accepted an invite. We spoke earlier of Jordan Willis from Kansas State. Couple of specialists added this week: Justin Vogel, punter from Miami, and Colin Holba, a long snapper from Louisville. But to me, one of my favorite players in the draft this year accepted an invitation to Mobile this week, and that's Donnell Pumphrey, running back from San Diego State. I've talked about him in these videos week after week ad nauseum almost. I love his game. I love everything that he brings to a football team. He is a little over 100 yards away from breaking the FBS career rushing yardage mark set by Ron Dane. Now, granted, there's an asterisk by that because of number of games played and bowl game stats and all that. But according to the record book, he is a little over 100 yards away from breaking that record. And I cannot wait to see him in Mobile. So that's going to do it for this week. So we split this video up into 2. So if you stumbled upon part 2, go back and watch part 1. But as always, you can follow me on Twitter at DeepFriedDraft. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/DeepFriedDraft. Search us on YouTube. Search The Cheat Meal. Search Deep Fried Draft. Search Brian Bosarge. You'll find it on YouTube. Then hit the subscribe button, and you'll never have to worry about searching for us again. So thank you for watching. As always, good night.